Hi, Stoughton. This is Steve Cavey, Select Board Member from the town of Stoughton. Today is June 15th, 2021. I'd like to give you guys an update on the meeting we had tonight. Let me start by just reminding everybody that down in the description you can find some information that might be helpful, some links. There's a link to the full meeting via SMAC. You can find the agenda, the minutes when they become available. There's also a link to an anonymous suggestion box if you want to share with me your thoughts. Keep your identity to yourself. I'm cool with that. Just drop a comment in there. I also can be reached via email or phone, and all that information is on the town website. So feel free to reach out to me however you'd like. Okay, so let's dive into this. Today's meeting was a little bit wild. So we not controversial, but just it was just getting all of the getting the, sort of all the pieces to work right. Took a little time because we are no longer only remote, right? We did have a Google Meets set up for it, but we were actually in the Great Hall as well. So it was a bit of a hybrid. And this is the first time we tried to do it, and there were a lot of technical issues. And I just want to, give a shout out to really everybody involved in making the best out of a difficult situation. The folks from SMAC did a great job. People who were at Town Hall were very accommodating and worked to make sure that we were able to finish this meeting and get the work done. But also that we were able to get all the stuff done, but sort of timely and it's close to midnight now, so I should stop talking. Anyway, so it probably didn't have to be as long as it was. It was a very long meeting. We got done close to 11:20 or so, but it is what it is. But we took it on and made the best of what we could. So let me go through this. I'm going to try and get through this kind of quickly because I am fading fast apparently. So we started off with the regular stuff. We had citizens requests. I don't think we had any today. Select board comments. Those were kept to kind of a minimum, and town manager comments as well. We then moved on to requests from the town treasurer to authorize the issuance of $2,102,690 for a bond anticipation note pursuant to General Law, Chapter 44, Section 4. So this is the town treasurer, Paula Newt, was making this request. This is, I think that this is pretty much an annual occurrence directly after town meeting. I think it's a 90-day borrowing in anticipation of tax revenue. So in 90 days, when everyone has paid the taxes, then this gets paid off in full. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. Next item on the agenda. This is not how we cover these things in order. I apologize, but re-establishing the order in which we discuss things might be difficult. So we'll bounce around a little bit. But the next item on here is the update to the June 22nd, 2021 special election. This was the town clerk, Stephanie Carrera, was informing everybody of the fact that they have they're currently having early voting, so you can go in to I think that's town hall and vote early, but the election is going to be next Tuesday. This is to fill the seat vacated by former chair Christine Howe. Two folks are running for it, Lugino and Mark Zamanian. It's important that we have that fifth member of the board, so if you're able to get out, please vote. Please consider seriously the implications of your vote, and get out there, get to know these two gentlemen, and please vote for somebody. We need the best we can have in that fifth seat. So next item, discuss transfer from NWRA Infrastructure Fund to Water Fund. This was a request from the town accountant. We definitely had some issues hearing at this point during the meeting, so we had a lot of the information gets repeated multiple times. But essentially, there were three options of what the board could do at this point: make a transfer in some funds, or not make the transfer, do nothing. But the transfer can either happen now or it can happen later. So those are the three choices: transfer now, transfer later, or do nothing. The ability to transfer now isn't possible because we need to have free cash certified before we can make that transfer. That won't be done until November. So in either case, there really wasn't anything we could do right now. So we essentially decided to hold off on a vote, and we will either go the transfer later or choose not to transfer at all. We then had two public hearings. One is an application for a common vicular license, which is Prato Fino do Brasil. This is at 79 Canton Street, and it's a I think they've been operational for a little while now as a takeout, and but they're opening up their seating, so they need this license. I'll be heading down there probably for lunch tomorrow, so we'll it seems like a fine establishment. I'm looking forward to it. Next was an application to transfer a malt beverages and wine license from SEG Inc., doing business as Pinecrest Convenient, to Omsahi Inc. Omsahi Inc., doing business as Pinecrest Convenient at 450 Pearl Street. So this is a transfer of liquor license, and both of these applications were approved unanimously. Next up, municipal aggregation program. So this is we had a pretty long and I think fruitful discussion about this. This is a something that town meeting had voted on a little while ago, or a couple of years ago, I think 2018, to allow the town to do. It's where all the citizens of the town can sort of work together to get a better electricity price, and there are some options of what we do. We had a trial run of this a couple of years ago. It was a 6-month trial period, and we actually the town was able to save people a lot of money. Now I think the main issue that some of the members of the select board had was that the program itself would function as something where you would be automatically switched, and then you'd have to choose to opt out of it. And there is certainly, not everybody likes to have the government tell them what to do. That's totally respectable. The program itself saved, I think, when we were testing it, doing the test run, saved people, like the town as a whole, $650,000. That's a lot of money. It's hard to make an argument that people don't want to save money. But when given the option to opt out, fewer than 11% of citizens did. So both seems to have been popular, or people didn't know the difference. But also, more than 10% of the population is paying attention to their electricity bill. They recognize that this was something that they did want to stay in. So, so we ultimately decided to authorize the town manager to sort of enter into negotiations for this. But there's not it's not a done deal. If the town can't get a rate that is competitive with if they weren't to enter into this, then they simply won't do it. But they're given the option and the ability to enter this program and hopefully save members of the town lots of money. Let's see, next item: release of partial executive session minutes of July 28th, 2020, pertaining to open meeting law complaint of August 5th, 2020. So this was there's an open meeting law complaint. Actually, it was filed by Select Board Member Joe Krisky, currently the board chair, about an executive session that took place about a year ago, and he felt that that information, what we were discussing at the time, didn't belong in executive session, and so he filed the open meeting law complaint, and the Attorney General office agreed with his view on that, and so the executive session minutes ought to be made public. That's one of the requirements, and they had to be read into the record. So that was pretty. I did the reading, pretty painful stuff, but it's I'm not much of a reading loud kind of guy, but hopefully that will provide people with some insight into what was discussed, and ultimately what the conclusion was. Next. The next thing actually is was quite long. I'm going to read all of it. It's going to take a minute, but this is something that was brought to us by Vice Chair Deborah Roberts as a way to better track our budget revenue cycles, and also items that have to be scheduled over a period of time. So it's the heading is revisit budget revenue cycle and timeline tracking / schedules. It's broken up into two main headings: budget planning, and the second is timeline tracking, schedule, annual review. So I'll start with budget planning. The bulleted items we have: discuss financial reporting, dash quarterly municipal and school reporting, review audit provided by accounting department, close out any unused encumbrances prior to the year end, meet with assessors in July regarding current market potential effect on property taxes, meet with treasurer's office to review list of town-owned property, review and potentially amend debt service policy for the general fund debt, and review and potentially amend turnback policy. So each one of these items we discussed one by one, and discuss whether or not what we would like to do with it, when we would like to approach it, and each one has sort of their own dates. If you want to get more of an idea of what that schedule is going to look like, watch the meeting. But also, I think that it's going to be ultimately published by the select board at some point, so that might come out as a document that you can more easily view. So the second header was timeline tracking, schedule, annual reviews. Several bullet points under that. One is town manager, town clerk. Each one of those people has a contract with the town, and part of that contract is reviews, either annual or semi-annual. So those just have to end up on a schedule somewhere, so we know that when that time comes, we provide the review that's required. Next major header is master plan. Assess what is complete, what is outstanding. Potential items: senior housing, capital project plan, municipal and school 3 to 5 year planning project. And the last item is updates of major capital projects, status of sewer project, and plan for fire station. So this is just a high level view of some things that we need to track deadlines for. She gave a presentation on this, and I think this is a healthy direction for us to go in, is to, especially with regard to budget items, is to build a schedule that is, we just repeat each year, and try to get a better understanding of the specifics, the specific things that are unique about a given year, and try to just sort of focus on those as much as possible. That's my own interest, at least. If for example, our debt service is a lot of people talk about the debt service, or how much we pay for our debt, or the interest that we have to pay on the bonds that we issue, and there, in my conversations with folks about this, there tends to not be much sort of analysis, or it has really more to do with like a general feeling that people have hear things about spending being out of control. Objectively, that's not true. But but we also have to do what we have to understand is getting out of control, right? Is our debt service increasing faster than the surrounding areas, or is if we're on a pretty normal trajectory, is this year somehow unusual for our cycle, or is it even is it going lower than in prior years, especially as a percentage of other things like debt service as a percent of total revenue or something. Like as you understand the proportions of these specific items against the total, you might see that the way we sort of allocate different expenses or different revenues or different actually I just kind of leave it there, like different expenses mostly. If the way that we're allocating or budgeting these items, if the proportions start to change in some meaningful way, it's something we really ought to track. And I'm not aware of the select board having done that in the past. I doubt most select boards have done that or anything like that, and I think it would be extremely helpful. So I definitely appreciate Vice Chair Deborah Roberts bringing this to the board. So the last is consent agenda. We had 4 items. I'll just read about payroll and bill warrants and any other documents to come before the meeting. Item B, request by Stoyak et al. To name field number 4 at the Wilkins Field Complex in honor of Edward J. Fitzgerald. Item C, approve invoice number 11 in the amount of $16,405 for disbursement to be made from the CPA housing account under the COVID-19 Emergency Housing Fund program. Item D, approve open session minutes of 5/18 and 6/1 of 2021. The one that stands out and we took separately much earlier in the meeting was item B, request by Stoyak to name field number 4 at the Wilkins Field Complex in honor of Edward J. Fitzgerald. I didn't grow up in Stoughton, so I didn't have the honor to meet Fitzy or to be sort of a mentee of him. But it sounds like he put a lot of attention into mentoring kids in the town, and just overall being somebody that people could rely on to look after generations of children in the town as they came through the sort of Little League system. So he seems to have really had a profound impact on a lot of people's lives, and for that, naming a field after him, I think is an appropriate honor. So we had 2 items in our executive session. The first one we didn't take up, so I'll read it, but we didn't discuss it. Item A was to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining with AFSCME Council 93, Civilian Dispatch pursuant to General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 21A3. As I mentioned, that item was not taken up, but item B we did, and that is to approve executive session minutes of 6/1/2021. Well, I said I was going to make this fast, and look at that, it took 20 minutes. Be well, everybody. Stay healthy. It looks like, enough of us have gotten vaccines that we can start to, get back to normal. But we're still not there 100%. In town hall, we still have this hybrid meeting, so we're not quite there, but we're getting there. Just take your vitamins, get vaccinated, and let's all do our best to just respect one another and try to get back to normal. It's going to be an interesting couple of months as we get back into the swing of it. We also have to be a little bit patient with one another. But do be well, and thank you again for allowing me to be a select board member. It's been a huge honor. Take care. Bye.